Just doing little holes with it. I ran out of room on the countertop there and all so bad.
And you think it's really tractor, obviously, it's a tractor.
Well, out of this, you'll have it all.
You remember that one day, that's true. But at the same time, it's there.
There's a wall on, either in the bottom. They had still go ahead and adapt it when they needed tank to hook it to this thing. So let's see.
There's an option, there. Oh, we're back. That way. There it is. Yeah. Got to at least teach them. Yeah, they do very well.
Oh, yes.
Look at the show.
I know the Ag Center, but it's.
Yeah, okay. When you said, I just jump up and say, so I do. But I thought that was a business called Food Speed.
No.
Yeah, you can see the one in the window, they're doing okay.
Probably get most since there's gonna be so many, if it was gonna be like less than 50, it's the difference.
But I think a lot of these are there.
Thank you, right? I didn't even think about it.
Serving things and all that.
I've broken my feet.
Yeah, so it's very generous with everything else that we do here, so I don't think.
Oh my goodness, I saw it in the email.
I didn't know there was a number, so I thought it was still at last. You go through the laptop, man.
At least the first time. 2000. Yes.
Well, we can hear that, just that we have it.
So what about you? It's just like, what do I need? Over there.
On the speaker, I like that microphone. Probably just one on the hook.
There's already a microphone.
Is there? Okay.
That's the new one. It's way more.
That's why I was confused when you asked.
Oh, I used the one hanging up.
This one is got and it's a push. It's on. And you just have to stay at your podium.
I didn't see it, you know.
It's kind of a lot of making you. Well, wait, this is all set up to carry a little bit.
They set this but hour just HDMI so it'll do the same thing as office. You don't.
Here.
Might as well put it up there, because I'm gonna need it up there tonight.
Turn around so that this is for I looked at it just. It's kind of the same thing.
I'm gonna go see if I can find
Check.
Yes.
My neighbor. I think that's the county is, it's more balls. Okay, I guess she's gonna be found. Well, I think you
Oh, that's why you didn't I'm like, oh.
My wife, just see it and you can hear from there and it's,
I'm sorry.
very much.
No, I didn't remember.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She did have
Yeah.
I've got some different.
You talked about it. I'm sure. And her three able to.
They don't want to be next.
What about friends? I was like, oh, friends.
I used to and Tuesday.
Usually
See it again.
Yeah, I see that.
I see it.
Yeah, that's one of the other celebrations.
This is another
Well,
Very meeting. Okay. I had a prayer. Last fall. Next year, this year, that. Oh, yeah. It cost us a lot of grief. That's been my, yeah, I'm gonna. How's it going?
Because of our proximity to Raleigh with the state fair, it's a having fair. Most of the kids will spend less than 2. And there's also. Live obviously out of say it like the county. I think Wilson County has a fair. I know Wilson County, Lamar County has a fair. So lots of other counties, some of them regional fairs, like one here it's regional fairs. Lane County. The area since we're so close to Raleigh and it's like fair. We used to have some all the Carolina rain trucks. So it's been a long time ago. 15 years ago. That's the closest we ever had. Well, the projects we talked about. I mean, if you talk about land park projects and that sort of thing, they get submitted to Lane County. That would get submitted to one of the other mayors.
What I.
Another. We do have a very livestock show. Which kind of makes up for the livestock.
And they'll eat the box. Sure.
We do help.
So it'd be better if you let them start. Apartment or something. And then these control the bottom.
I don't think it's great, let's ask it.
That's not. I'll give it.
It's always where you go see county. So that's where the state.
Still something with Jack front burrows. I have seen places. Hang on.
Yeah, but like I said, it's weird to work with the 4-H guys. They, we were here projects. I don't think you're not like probably all the record books on that. Yeah, like I said, in some cases, but then you're also thinking, hey, I just know that you're good at it. To the best of our abilities. There is another thing. Great, I'm there every day, so I'm like. So I was getting ready. And I forgot about we do everything. I don't know. Keep up. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got regular hunts early. They get, he works outside, they get hit by yellow. They freak out when I'm over there. We're never. Yeah, well, that's the one that's last year. They did. There's over. Money in there. That's why I'm not. I was like very everything going by. I said, "Wow, I could be." Yes. Next couple of days, I'll be Beekeepers surprised me with them. It's already fallen.
And that's.
But I gave a couple of chapters about beekeepers.
Let's go get some.
Yeah. It's kind of like driver. It's like driving. You're learning now. Have some rhythm.
Go there. You're still there.
What happens is I mean,
Well, mine. Oh, okay.
There's probably a computer somewhere in here running.
Well, the airport's using the data.
It's all.
Yeah. Okay, it's gonna say beekeeper's calendar, probably what they're top. What's that say?
Beekeeper here, Johnston County, North Carolina.
Well, my.
The PDF one, is probably the best one.
Oh, yeah. That all you know?
Yeah.
Just leave it in case I need to go to from these folks, one of these, tomorrow, the $7.95.
Well, they just changed charge.
Probably go to Action Lot and some, but I don't know what time you can walk there.
Half mile, whatever.
Because, two of them. I have a trail
Which one?
That's fun. Oh, you know, so.
But she has not like.
I lost one of the early.
So when you're
Even the other day, yes, so I'm kind of like going for me. I'm thinking there's crossing. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it's like the exploding. He's trying it out.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, just crap.
That's how we tell people, basically, make a loop without your start. Well, yeah.
What is for? I'm in the yard.
Maybe it's a chat, you're not there.
There was another.
At first.
That's not.
Got our house.
There's salt out there.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, except for my own, I overpopulated mine
Is that what they were?
and a lot. Last year.
Very basic.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I was like,
Yeah, we just trying to show on.
Yeah, that's all. Yes.
It's a story of
It's good.
the difference is big enough difference.
I did.
A lot of problems. You're right. That's
Somehow.
Wow. There's one.
I like that song.
No. Let's see. Well, I can't get an answer.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're gonna get started. Please. All right. Thank y'all for coming tonight. I realize that, we missed last month, and you made a decision not to come due to the potential ice storm that didn't show up, but if we got everybody here, we got home, so you know how Murphy's Law works. If everybody would stand, say, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Real quick, at the back table, copies of the budget that we're going to be voting on soon. You haven't got one, share with your neighbor, go pick you up on there, whatever it's on. We'll get started here with new member introductions. Got anybody here that's it's the first night? Would like to introduce themselves? Stand up, tell us who you are, how many eyes you got.
My name is Chris Sampson. This is my wife, Tricia. We are brand new. We're signed up for the class next year. We've got physically 2 high, but there's no bees in them yet, so we're looking forward to getting that.
You got a good start. Welcome.
Brown Week is first time, and big and not.
Welcome. Thank y'all for coming. You're getting a jump start on everybody who applied to school. It's about that. They can meet here to go over some of these things. You probably, if you haven't done this or you want to start this, we're going to start using less and less paper. There'll be less things printed out in advance. We're going to do more of them online, on the club website, things of that nature. So there's not as much scroll in the end, same way with the B school. We're gonna have QR codes and stuff, that take you all the information electronic. I won't say we won't ever have any paper, but we'll try to cut back on some of it. These like trees. Just for what it's worth, the endowed professorship at NC State, has been fulfilled. North Carolina University, North Carolina State University is the first college in the country to have a B professor. Everybody else is both doctors. We have a B doctor, or will from now on, because state, due to your contributions, has made that happen.
What is his name?
Right now is Dr. Carter. It's just an endowed professorship. So when he retires, the next person who takes over will be for bees, not for anything like that.
In tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe it's.
Well, yeah, he. And then the B lab is coming along nicely. They're hoping to have that opened up, maybe by the summer, not long later. See some pictures of that. You can see them online on Facebook. You kind of keep that posted. A couple weeks ago, we had the state convention in Newburgh. There's some folks made us, some folks didn't. It's real good information. One of the things they're talking about is probably here, which is ain't found one yet, yellow lake ornament. You go to some of the state banks stuff. There's a sign up if you want to put out some traps, that they would just like to know where these traps are. And if you catch a yellow lake ornament, they're going to send somebody out. Don Hopkins. He's been doing a lot of running around and checking for these things. And the first ones that were found in South Carolina were found by beekeepers. They were watching their hives and these little things. They do what they call hawking. So they're out there flying like this in front of your hive, waiting for a bee to do a snack. Take it to a tree, rip it apart, them all, go back to their. The one that was caught out of South Carolina had 313 queens in the hive when they dissected. Apparently they're not like bees, they have a bunch of them. And they feel like some had already left. So we get to be, that was right outside of Charlotte. So we get to be on the lookout. That jump all the way from the lower end of South Carolina up that far. So theoretically, they could jump from there to here relatively easily. July, we have no meeting that we normally do. And I've been putting it out here early for ideas. Last couple of years, we've gone to the meadery, Starlight. It's a pretty good trip to make. We want to do that again, we can. We'll do something else. Throw out some ideas. Either online or get with me or we're talking to see what the folks want to do. It's been proposed, because right now they're having a pretty good sale of the field cover on the bottle cover. It's a little small than what you normally would see. Nathan has bought one, I don't think you've used it yet. Here it is. The big difference between this one and the higher end versions, this one doesn't use a scale to start and stop. It has been proposed that we buy one for the club for members to use. I wanted to put it out to everybody instead of just the board. See if y'all think it's something worthwhile. They want to come look at it, see what it's gonna take to clean it, take it off, bring it back and clean it. Then I figure out a way to find charge it what it is, because that's not fair to the next person. But it's $299, which isn't bad, it's only about 6. So they've got to be warranty on it, throwing it out there, think about it, we can talk about it toward the end, if somebody wants to bring it up now about doing it. I'm okay with what. I mean, you haven't used it, you have any thoughts, comments on it? And John can tell us the difference between that higher end version.
I got tried at the show. And it's real convenient. You set it by time before you can do it manually. And it has a foot pedal and it also has a button on the manual operation.
It would say that you just went with foot pedal, it would be kind of like a no hand that, it would be very convenient because then it would just take the place of this other hand. Normally I would do a game.
Right.
It seems like if you just trust your own, cutting on and off, then it might be worth that.
Well, here's the thing, you can put a postal scale up there. And then you can say that the weight, care, and then you just set it up there. You should put the postal scale's $20.
If you bought with a club and then just kind of had an evaluation tool, then after sometime in the season, you have a better idea of like, is it trustworthy?
The one I have a filling machine that's, got all the buttons and everything. The problem I would have is it going around with the it's the scale can be easily damaged. Whereas this has no scale out there. I mean, it's very robust. So
Less can be damaged on this.
It seems like it's nice to take kind of the financial burden of trying it out and put it on the club shoulders. You got one member done it for his own purposes, but then everybody can learn from that experience that it happens to be 2 or 3 people filling out money and then find out they either don't like it or whatever.
Now, the only caveat for that is the probably is continuing. Why they have some of them. So it's, you do have to take that into consideration, but it doesn't. The fancier ones, way you pull an empty, you put an empty on there, you recognize it, and it starts filling it for you. Things like that. This one's not going to do that.
If you do a lot of them, they're fantastic. It is a lot to clean, put together. And I was really nervous just even moving mine around. That would be the only thing I'd be concerned with. It's a lot to get it
Now, you had this one or the one with scale?
I have the scale on it.
Yeah, that one is more involved on this one, so no doubt. But y'all think about it. Let me do tonight or in the very near future. We will have to look on comparison, or there won't be one to get. It'll be moved. A couple things coming up. I've got it on the agenda. The Master Gardener plant sales. I find that that's April 11th. When we do that, we'll set up, sell honey, talk about bees. It's up in Clayton, the rec center. A lot of fun. It'll be a little chilly in the morning, but that one will be help selling. So if somebody's working toward their journeyman or something like that, it's going to count as a credit or service credit. And if you're not working toward that, it's a lot of fun to get out there, talk to these people. And you can go buy some plants everywhere. Bill Battlegrounds is going to be coming up. Couldn't find the date on that one.
I think it would be in October again.
I would, yeah, that's my guess. It's just I didn't find an exact on that one. White Memorial Church, I didn't find the exact date yet, but that's usually about mid-August. Again, these are all places where we set up either coffees, cell phone, and then there's numerous 4-H programs that come throughout the year. And do you have anything that they have?
I have, Clayton Homeschool, we have to ask again, we're coming in April. Wait for them to get back on the date for, the day to have it, so I can submit it to the, Ag Center and see what we have in the kitchen. For that day, I'm still waiting on that, just that's the section of that.
Would that be a?
It's not 4-H, that's the Clayton Homeschool.
Okay, but still, you've got to get it on. All right, and a couple other things, spoke with the Wilson's president's wife. It's set up, for August the 7th, the Eastern North Carolina hunting contest. It's going to be set for, basically it's for everybody, all the clubs east of 95. And we have enough Johnston County east of 95 involved. It'll be in Wayne County. So if anybody's thinking about they might want to enter, get your stuff ready for the track or state fair, that could be a good starter. June the 27th in Oxford, we have Bee Jubilee. Got a man here that's worked more than one of them. I'll tell you about it warmed up. Again, honey shows, but a whole lot about bees, things you can go to and learn.
What's the name of it again?
The Bee Jubilee, that's in June. And also, Winston-Salem is going to be this year's spring, summer state convention. It'll be July the 9th and 11th. We don't have a meeting that month, but want to go out night crew. So if you want to go out there, make the trip, listen to what they're going to talk about. Depending on what they talk about, sometimes it's very loose. If you're thinking about taking your journeyman or master beekeeper, it's going to be starting up very good. A study group, have 4 people committed so far that would like to, and we'll probably do it like about once a month on a Saturday afternoon here at the Ag Center. Someone has come up with a way to go to study to pass the test. We'll see if it works. I just don't keep doing them all. Next is we want to vote on the budget. You had a chance to get one in the bag or share with your neighbor. About a year. If you'll notice, we have the 26 proposed. We got 2025 what we had as far as the budget. Basically, we only moved a couple things were moved around because we're no longer pre-purchasing hats and t-shirts. Now, if you want one, you'll buy it. So we moved that 500, added a little bit of it to the field trip cookout. Price of everything's going up. Somebody said it was a tariff. Also, the aviary, we added a good deal to our aviary expenses, trying to get it back up. Looking good. Joe has been doing a good job. Lou has been doing a good job with Joe and Paul's help to get everything looking good. We're going to get some splits and things like that. We've got a lot of equipment ready to go. So we're hoping for a good season. And that is really the only things that changed. And basically the budget went up $100. So Go ahead.
So all these, what it subtracts out of them. This is what you want the lot to spend.
Yes.
Like, in 2036, what is that, how do we pay people to sell?
And the bottom calls, sometimes we have to buy honey, the labels.
So the income is more than $2,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And
It's hard to see it. Go about it, don't see it. But what's coming in as well as what's coming out.
Sorry, I just didn't check it over there last year.
Okay.
I was much smarter enough to figure out how to show you.
It's a confusing document without any revenue.
What was our revenue next?
Very good. Yeah.
I'd have to look back, look it down.
I mean, we were in the black.
So we would have enough money to. Okay.
We got more money to buy, this is.
Oh, yeah, December, we had over 12,000. We collected a lot more money from B school, but B school don't cost, so that's almost a wash by the time we pay for the food and everything. Because we're not really using it as a money maker. Let me go back and look at it. Yes, sir.
I have an unrelated question. Has there ever been any discussion about buying some of the like satellite or on patio or anything like that, and passing bulk savings on to members? Like you purchase them in a heavy quantity, you get a lot of discount, and pass it on to people.
Not only club level, individuals work some of those things out. I don't. We've got members that sell the stuff for a living, so I don't want to step on them too hard. And then, but like I said, individuals get together. I've been with a few folks to buy the jars just to get a better price. Well, we had a real good opportunity at Kentucky this year to buy frames cheap. So we bought about a pallet of frames between two of us. That's exciting. Several of us willing to do that. It's kind of neat because I'm walking with the guy out by the high full frames. This is simple. Somebody goes, man, you get ready. I said, yeah, I got 2 nukes coming tomorrow. They're talking about these frames. Are y'all agreeable to the budget? Like I said, we've got the money to cover what we're asking for. We're just trying to put some down. And I am not a budget person. We got it or we don't. Right now we got it. I want to make a motion.
Make a motion.
All in agreement, say aye. Aye. All opposed? I have it, we'll use this as our budget this year. It can change. But we're hoping it doesn't. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John. John, we've got a program for us. Roughly the first 6 months, I'm all we need to do.
Now, some of these plans I cannot pronounce. Don't get upset, just help me. There's one mistake in this document. We'll get to it. Can everybody hear me? Well, this is the presentation on the Beekeepers calendar. And we're going to go through June, and then we'll come back later on this year and do July through the end of the year. There's a link at the top, barcode, to take you to our website, and you can download this document. Most of the photos here are from NC State University. General comment, some of the plants listed in these documents may not grow in Johnston County. Some beekeeper links are the different clients. So just take this stuff with a grain of salt. Now I'm gonna figure out how to make it. Across Johnston County, there'll be about a 5 to 7 day variation with respect to dates due to rainfall and temperature variations. The county's very large, so what may happen in the northern part of the county may be later than what happens in the southern part. So let's talk about a couple of things. We're going to start with safety. You got trip hazards in the neighborhood, you're moving heavy boxes, and you don't see where you're going, you trip, you get hurt easily. Dehydration and overheating in hot weather is a problem. You should have an EpiPen, so if you get stung very badly and have a reaction, you can treat yourself. If you're taking a beta blocker, you need to talk to your doctor because the EpiPen may not work. Your smoker's a fire hazard, and you can set the grass on fire. Just be careful. Power tools, you need to take care of. And if you're using alcohol for a night watch, just remember you got a smoker there. Alcohol burns with a blue flame. You can't see it in the daylight. Fire ants and wasps, those are common pests in apiaries. So, honeybees are a superorganism. It's an advanced social structure which individuals work together as a unified whole, much like organs and cells in a living organism. The term applies to social insects such as honeybees, ants, and termites. No single individual can survive on its own long. Instead, the colony behaves as a single organism. Everybody contributes to the hive's overall function, communication, decision-making, and resource management at the colony level. Just keep in mind, a lot of that's driven by pheromones. So if you start doing some mite treatments where you're using forming, your hive may get out of a kilter because they can't make that communication. Okay. The reason this is the biggest is the most important factor. Timing is the most important thing in beekeeping. If you're not timely in your beekeeping, you're probably going to fail. If you do mite treatments late, you don't do mite checks, you don't feed your bees when you need to, you don't take supers off when you need to, it's all timing issue. Okay. Okay. There's a bloom calendar here, thanks to Seth and Tammy. And there's a QR code there to take you to it, so you can look at what's blooming where and when. It's the first time I've seen this. There's also a link to the Prairie State Beekeepers plants for honeybees. It's a pretty good link. Just remember, some of that stuff won't grow yet. We don't have, in some cases, we don't have good enough soil. Okay. Honeybees do not like the smell of neem, mint, somebody say that for me. Citronella. You can put this close. And then Tammy came up with this. I just thought I'd pass it out. With the exception of cold temperatures or rain, pollen is available almost all year round, except during the last week of August, some years. I've seen my bees bring in pollen if they can fly. So it's available right now. Your hive should be tilted to the front, so any condensation water drains out. That's a common beekeeping thing you learn in bee school, but I see a lot of hives that get out of kilter throughout the year and the water stays in there, and I have had mine do that. You need to limit your hive inspections below 60 degrees. Hive inspection can be made at 60 low end, but brood frame should not be left out very long. At temperature 70 or above, complete inspection can be performed. And I know Ron Laster may do inspections down at 50-some degrees, but he waits for sunlight and no wind, I suspect. Know why you're inspecting before you go inspect. Okay, in an emergency, I don't care if it's 20 degrees, 15 degrees. If you need to go in and open a hive to save it, do so. Don't say it's too cold. You can always put a cloth over the root area, but if the whole hive is blocked and the bees, can't get any air or whatever, you gotta do what you gotta do. Make sure your hives have a continuous supply of water year round, and that's not your neighbor's swimming pool. Okay. Bears are becoming a problem for beekeepers. I know bears have been seen at Lasker Road. They've been seen down near Hummingbird Road. They've been seen in the Neuse River Basin, down around 701 back over the Neuse River. You need an electric fence if you're in those areas. It needs to have 1 joule of energy or more. And the North Carolina Wildlife publication talks about how to do a bear fence. It's a pretty good publication. One of the biggest things you need to be aware of is you need good grounds. If you don't have a good ground, then the charger's not going to do anything to that bear. And that bear is going to be startled. It will go through the fence if you don't have a good ground. Okay. Here are bee numbers. Y'all got this in bee school or will get this in bee school. But those typically, your queen takes 16 days, workers 20, 21, and drones 24 plus or minus 1. You need to have those bee numbers memorized. So when you're out working your bees, you have a question, you can figure out what's happening. If you don't know your bee numbers, you won't be able to really work your bees well. Okay, if you got an ITM board, you can do mite checks any time of the year. All you gotta do is clean the board, oil it, put it in 72 hours, and then pull it out and count your mites. You got over 30 mites, you got a problem. You're above the 2% limit. You need to treat, or at least do a Dawn Ultra mite wash. We use Dawn dish detergent in your mite checker. Sugar shakes can be done, but they're not reliable in the summertime around here when the humidity goes up, because the powdered sugar wants to clump together. So you're better off using a Dawn wash. Need to rotate mite treatments and get an idea of what treatments are available. You can go to the Honeybee Health Coalition. They've got a very good decision tool there. Talk about when you can treat, with what treatments, and at what levels. There is a video here I've included on sugar shake if you want to do it. If you're going to do it, I would recommend that you get a new bag of sugar that's not been unopened to do your sugar shake with. Okay. Small hive bees. Those are a problem here, and they can be quite troublesome if they get out of control. For example, they can slime a hive, just decimate the hive, if the bees can't keep them out. You can spread limestone around your hive to change the soil pH. You can use oil traps, and if you look at that picture, you can see two type of oil trap. This is the disposable one, the black one. And you just put the oil in there and put a little apple cider vinegar in there with it. The beetle will try to go in and get it. The other one is on the right, and that's it's got a bait in the center. You flip it open and you can put apple cider vinegar in that bait, and then you put oil on each end. The one on the right tends to work really good. And then you can also use unscented Swifter sheets. And I'm not sure I spelled Swifter right. Anyway, you can see the hive beetles stuck on the Swifter sheets. Okay. From January to early March, and then November and December, you need to watch for blocked entrances with dead bees or snow. We had snow this year for the first time in a long time, and some of my hives were blocked. I do have top entrances, so that wasn't a great problem. If you don't have them, you need to clean them off so the bees can get ventilation. If you put winter patties on, the pollen patties, small hive beetles love them to lay eggs on. So if you'll put a piece of galvanized hardware cloth, bent up like it's got legs like a 1/4 inch, and you set your pollen patty up there, then the bees can control the bottom, prevent hive beetles from laying eggs. Because you will overwinter hive beetles, because they're going to be in there with your bees. You put the pollen patties in there, they can make a mess. And they'll lay eggs under there if the bees can't get there to keep it controlled. You need to clean any dead outs before warm weather. And you need to put that cone in your freezer because it's very valuable. Don't let that cone go to waste. It costs you a lot of money to make it. It's valuable for making splits in the spring. Because now you got drawn cone, you can put it in a hive, that'll clean it up and reuse it. Okay. January activities. For bees, spring starts in late January. Days are getting longer, and the red maple nectar flow starts encouraging more brood. You need to get your last oxalic acid treatments done in early January. And that's the most effective way to control mites, is oxalic acid when you have minimal amount of brood. The club has a vaporizer you can check out. They got two types. They got paddle type, and then they got an instant vape. You need to be trained on instant vape to make sure you know how to do the respirator fit. But once you're trained and you can check it out and use it, you'll need to provide your own oxalic acid. Al sells it. You can get it online. Warm days, bees should be flying. If it's, some of my bees will fly 33 degrees or less. If the sun's out. That's the big provision. You need to make sure that you have enough weight on your hives in January. You should have 30 to 40 pounds. You need to feed, if you don't, 2-to-1 ratio. You need early brood building, feed the pollen substitute. Combine queenless or poor performing hives, kill one of the queens. It's time to move your hives while they're relatively light. You wanna move them somewhere else, it's a good time to do it, because they're gonna have minimal amount of supers and stuff on there. Need to repair equipment that's out of service, you need to order and build equipment, needed for the spring. You need to order your Duke and B packages if you haven't already done so. If you got a cone stored, you need to inspect it for wax moth damage. If wax moths are present, freeze the cone for 72 hours at 10 degrees below. You treat with certain B402, which is a BT product that kills the larva, the wax moth larva, or put paramount on it to prevent further infestation. It's also time to renew your location with drift watch, so they know where your bees are, so the farmers don't spray in that area. And there's a QR code here. The January plants, dandelion, it's got pollen is red, yellow, or orange. See a nice picture of it there. Orange pollen. Envid, it's a common winter annual, it's mint family, pollen's orange, red, purple. Dead nettle, pollen's bright red or crimson. It's going to be hard to tell where that pollen's coming from because they're all seem to be red. Mustard, you see mustard out there all over the place along farm fields and such. Red maple starts around January 20th, has a 45-day duration, ends around March 5th. Once red maple nectar becomes available, bees will start raising brood in furnace. Pollen is gray-brown. Here's your red maple. If I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down. Help me pronounce this. Mahona. Okay. Pollen's yellow. Snowdrops. Pollen's yellow or to orange, reddish orange. Floral cherry trees. Once again, yellow, brown, light brown. Edgeworth Hill, paper bush. Pollen's yellow. Winter jasmine. Pollen's bright yellow. Flowering quinces, late January through March. Yellowish green. Winter seed sweet. Pollen's yellow. Daphne, January to March. Pollen's yellow or orange. And I had a question whether there was also red pollen. February activities. Bees are raising brood and consuming approximately 10 pounds of food, plenty of nectar per week. Check the hive weight, make sure it's adequate. Check sugar water and add as needed. Switch to 1-to-1, 1 gallon of water, 8 pounds of sugar in early February to encourage drawing comb as more bees become available. Certain breeds of honeybees, we won't say who, will raise large quantities of brood in excess of their food supply. Don't let your bees starve to death this short of the starting date. Bees will raise drones in late January, February. When drone cells are present, swarming season is not far away. Drones take 24 days to emerge and ready to start mating 10 days after they emerge. I saw drones in my hive this week. Who else has seen drones? Okay. I think my drone was a visitor from another hive, because I only saw one. Is the hive bringing in pollen? If not, a hive inspection is warranted. Because if they're not after pollen, there's no brood being raised. Start hive inspections on warm days, temperature above 60 degrees with little or no wind. Experienced beekeeper can inspect at lower temperatures. Check the hive for diseases, viruses, foul roots. Towards the end of February, start looking for swarm cells. I don't know if we're going to have swarming as early as we usually do. I did see some queen cups in one of my hives. They're Russians. You know, they do that stuff all the time. Don't break up your brood nest. If you try to rearrange your hive, the bees got clustered around the brood. Don't make it where they can't. When you're inspecting, open some drone cells and inspect for mites. Because a mite check may not tell you what's going on, but if you open some drone cells and there's mites on them, then you know that you're going to have a mite issue. Add supers with drawn comb if it's available. Ensure bees have adequate room. Once there's sufficient brood, complete a mite check on auger wash. Directed treatment is 2%, six mites per 300 bees. Hives with poor laying patterns are candidates for requeening. It's unlikely that a new queen will be available this early in the season. If necessary, remove queen and put several frames of eggs present with nurse bees from other hives. I wouldn't do this until after the 16th, and this year you probably don't have enough bees available at other hives to do it. Generally, a queen will emerge in 13 days, and there should be sufficient drones available for mating by the time the queen starts her mating flights, which is probably going to be early March. Consider replacing portion of your brood comb in each side, selecting the oldest and worst looking comb. That way you're always rotating it, you're getting any of the pesticides that from mite treatments out. You need to be setting up swarm traps now. You need to get them in place. Continue building equipment, and once again, you need to go back through your stored supers and make sure you don't have wax moth trying to ruin your comb. February plants, dandelion, henbit, mustard, red maple continue, crocus, columns, bright yellow to orange or orange to yellow. Blackberry, I don't know how that got there. That comes down in a few more months. That was a cut and paste, and I got too much. Sugar maple, college yellow, yellow green, olive. Black willow trees, late February through April, vibrant yellow. Peach trees, late February to mid-March, columns reddish yellow or dark yellow. Little rose, pale more, columns bright yellow. Apricot, columns yellow, white, orange. Rosemary, columns pale yellow, light greenish yellow, pale beige or white. I just don't say white, I just don't say all colors there. Swarming will start in early March, sometimes late February. Packaged bees will start arriving from Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. When you get your packaged bees, you can treat them with oxalic acid. You can use dribble or you can use a vaporizer. So, and I suspect you will find that they will be providing you with a supply of small packets too. I'm kind of cynical. March is when your hives are living hand to mouth. A deep frame contains 7,000 cells. If 1.5 frames of bees hatch out, that's approximately 10,000 bees for 3 pounds. That's a lot of hungry bees. You need to keep your eye on food stores. This is where they will just go through it. And once again, it's 1-to-1 ratio on sugar water. And they'll be going wide open on raising drones. Need to add your queen excluders, make sure your brood and queen is below the queen excluder. Make sure there's adequate room for your queen to lay. Make sure she's not probably sugar water bound, but make sure she's got a place to lay her eggs. Double brood boxes may need to be switched top to bottom. And the bottom box may be empty in 2 or 3 weeks if they need to be done again. Don't break your brood up though. They've got to be able to cluster because we can have some multiple days in March. Next question is, what are you going to do if you got queen cells present? You can let them swarm, or you can go ahead and split them and let them raise the queen, knock back most of the queen cells. You need to have a plan, and now's the time to plan for that, not when you go, I got queen cells. It's too late then. You need to have a plan in place. Do you need boxes? Do you need drawing home? So you need to have a plan now. High splits are now possible because of warmer temperatures, nectar flow, and the presence of drones remain. Once again, check drone cells for presence of mites. Complete a mite check. Once again, if it's above 2%, you need to treat. And you've got the things up there on the Healthy Honeybee Coalition and a decision tool there to help you pick your treatment. You also can go to Al, or you can go to Bailey, and they can help. Or you can, give the club members. But have a plan. Your IPM boards. I don't know why when I had IPM boards, I could never hit those 500,000 bees I had to claim any of them. Just would not claim them. They're just lazy. So you need to claim your own IPM boards because they're not going to do it. But they'll collect a large amount of pollen and wax debris, which will encourage wax moths and small hives. And if they gain a foothold on the IPM board, they can take over a hive 1 frame at a time. Ants become a problem in March, and this continues till December, January if it's warm. Fire ants are pest. Okay, so March plants. Dandelion, hemp, mustard, red maple. Red maple ends in early March. Everything else continues. Blackberry starts, I think, at the end of March into April. Cherry trees, nectar flow ends around early April. Pollen is white or pale yellow. Sugar maple runs till the end of March. Apple trees, late March, mid-April. Pollen, pale yellow, whitish yellow. Pear trees, March, April, pollen, yellow, reddish yellow. American redbud, the pollen's yellow. Grape, how do I say that? Hibiscus.
Hyacinth.
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 Okay. March to May, pollen is white but translucent, which is interesting. Viola, pollen's orange yellow, sometimes dark purple. Iris, pollen's yellow or orange. Clover starts blooming in late March. White clover blooms almost year-round in warmer spots. It peaks in December. Pollen is dark brown or maroon. Sweet clover, pollen is yellow to dark yellow. Crimson clover, pollen is reddish brown to charcoal or rusty, almost black. Red clovers, pollen's gray, beige, or gray. Okay, April. This very first sentence, hives should be very busy. One that's not should be inspected for cost. Did you guys know? No. Yeah, okay, I see that in my eye. Inspection should be completed every 7 to 10 days. And what are you worried about? Forming. Yeah, forming. Space also, that's a good point. There should be plenty of nectar and pollen available for colonies. As supers, as he said, you need space. You need a place for bees to hang out on a rainy day. You shouldn't need to feed only done with new colonies, new news, packages, or hives with low levels of stores. Do not let the queen become honeybound. What happens if the queen becomes honeybound? Is she going to move out? Yep. She's going to take half the bees and half your honey, and she's going to go find a new home. You have to remove some pollen frames, checkerboard in drawn or undrawn frames. Add additional brood box if necessary. If you don't provide sufficient space, they will swarm. Now's the time to get your bees to draw comb while they have plenty of nectar. Once again, you need to clean your IPM board. And that may just be taking the IPM board out and scraping the kite tool and sticking it back in. Don't need to be perfectly clean. My check needs to be completed. And April's a good month for splits and raising new queens. How many people here are going to raise queens this year? Okay. You all need to see who those people are, because you may need 5 queens. April plants, clover continues. Sumac, early April, pollen light yellow, the yellowish green. Huckleberry, early April, pollen's yellow. Tulip poplar, mid-April, pollen's vibrant yellow or yellowish, greenish yellow. Tupelo gum, late April, pollen's pale yellow and greenish yellow. Raspberry, late April, pollen's pale gray or white. Holly, late April, pollen yellow. Black gum, late April, pollen's greenish yellow or green white. Vetch, March, April, pollen's yellow brown. Privet, pollen is bright yellow. May the nectar flow continues. Don't let your hives become honeybound, because what happens? Form. Once again, you still should be going to your hives every 7 to 10 days. Swarming is still a major concern. Late May, early June is the time to harvest your honey. If you don't, the bees will consume the honey, raising the brood. Honey's worth $17 to $20 a pound, and sugar costs 44 cents a pound. How many people know about the General Hackett food line? Okay, you can take your $5 off coupon from Dollar General and take it to Food Line, and they'll accept it as a competitor's coupon. And you can get your sugar down to about 44 cents a pound if you buy the yellow bag of their generic sugar. That's pretty cheap. I know you can buy it for 50 pounds, a little bit cheaper, but most people 4 pounds is easier to handle. Honey should be extracted immediately or placed in the freezer to kill wax moth or high beetle eggs or larvae. You can harvest your honey by pulling individual frames as they're capped and store them in the freezer. Frames can be replaced with drawn or undrawn frames. When do you put wet supers on? Huh? Yep. And if you don't do that, you will find out about rotten. Once again, you need to do mic checks again. Be careful with your treatments. You can use oxalic acid and formic acid to supersonic, but a lot of your mite treatments you cannot use the supersonic. They're not labeled for that honey to be consumed. On your IPM boards, this is where small hive beetles get to be a real problem late April, early May. Goldberry, mid-May, pollen's pale yellow to whitish. Sourwood, late May. Cat's ear, which is false dandelion, flatweed, parrot cat's ear. Pollen's vivid orange. Crimson, mid-May to June, pollen's yellow. Lady's thumb, it's the same family as buckwheat. It's going to make you a dark honey. Pollen's pale pink to whitish or greenish. There's two pictures here. You can see them alongside the roadside. Let me back up to March. Let me say something. All those plants, like the dandelion, the mustard, the enbit, when the farmers start plowing their field, you're going to lose all that nectar supply. So you need to be watching for the farmers because you may need to feed them. Everything may be just great until those fields are plowed and you lose that nectar supply. So be aware of that. If you're in the city, it's probably not going to affect you. It's out the county as well. By June, by mid to late June, the nectar available to bees will start to decline. While swarms are less likely, swarms still do occur. The queen will reduce the number of eggs she's laying. Inspections still need to be every 7 to 10 days. You still need to do a mite check, and you need to clean your IPM boards. You need to stay on top of your hive beetles. One thing about the hive beetle oil traps, you need to be careful if you pull your super off and stand it on this end. Ask me how I know this. So you need to pull those oil traps before you do that. June's the last month to get drawn and comb without feeding one sugar water. This is how to recognize the summer dearth. This is from Ann Lake. Honeybees spend their spring and summer collecting nectar and bringing back to the hive to make honey. Once the colony work around the nectar it gathers, making nectar an invaluable resource. What happens when this resource becomes scarce? Many climates experience hot, dry periods in the middle of summer when the flowers stop producing much nectar. It's called the nectar dearth, and while it lasts, your bees can suffer from it. It's important to recognize summer nectar dearth, so you can take actions to help your honeybees. Listen to your bees. If you know your honeybees well, you can often spot issues just by paying attention. During the nectar dearth, your eyes will be louder as the honeybees grow nervous and agitated by the lack of nectar flow. Everybody's going to be home, so if you do an inspection, they're going to let you know they're not happy about it. Normal general colonies may grow defensive, and so the other thing is rotting. And they're saying that it's not just bumblebees, it's wasps, yellow jackets, I suspect ants. everybody's after that food that's in that hive. So you need to stay on top. Pay attention to foragers. They'll be out looking for a good nectar source. They may just fly from flower to flower and not find anything. They may fly from hive to hive trying to get in. Okay, that's the robbing screen on the front of a hive. Apparently I couldn't get screws to go in that one for some reason, but I didn't bring my whatever, and that's relatively holding in. Robbing screen on all the entrances. So if you had robbing, you close those bottom two entrances and just leave that top entrance open. And this is how I handle the nuke. If I don't have a robbing screen, I'll just stuff a screen in there and just leave a very small opening they can defend. And this allows for ventilation too. Okay. Plants. Mulberry continues until mid-June. Sourwood continues until the third week of June. Cat's ear continues. Lady thumb continues. American burnweed, eastern burnweed, fireweed. And it's June to October. Yellow flowers, pollen's bright red. American beauty berry, small pink lavender flowers, June to August. Pollen is pale yellow or whitish. And we're done with the first 6 months. Comments? Questions? We got experts in the room here, so.
Is it too late to order a nuke?
No.
Raise your hand, how do you do it?
I may have one.
You want it? I'll guess I can say. I lost my eyes. I tell you, like August, I mean, forget that.
I will have Russians in probably in May. I may have a few news in early March. I just have to get through those hives and inspect and see if I can split it.
David, you're looking at the Noroa now. Does anybody plan to use it or use it already?
I've lost 2 bags, but nothing we just have. Test.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna be. I don't know yet.
It's almost too late to use it because, yeah, because it's sugar water, so they're going to make funny honey out of it. And you don't want that up in your honey soups.
Also, it needs to not be consumed right away. It needs to be stored so that they can mix it when they're feeding the larvae. Because that's where it becomes effective. So right now they would eat it all up because of the brooding of it. There was a lot more questions when we got started.
It's also really expensive.
I mean, it's all relative, so I think it makes a good option for the squeamish beekeeper who is not sure what to do. $20 a hive, whatever, $22 a hive. Out of this world expensive. So you put that on there, and they have 2 hives. They're only gonna use the honey themselves anyway, so put it on there at the right time. Then that might get them through a season in which the squeamish beekeeper may have never checked their, like, they've been so afraid to do something, they would lost both of them anyway. So that may be the difference between complete that out and season. But for a lot of people, that cost and variability. So great, and they're just not gonna mess with it. Like, experiment for $3. Nothing experiment with $20.
Will you keep us updated?
Yeah, whatever. It's just gonna be later before I put it on.
Yeah.
Any other questions? This, go ahead.
The wax bond, Nathan, he brought the frame to prevent. B402. Yep. We should do it in COVID.
You, B402, you spray it, what I do is I freeze my cone first, and then I spray it on and let it dry, and then I stack all the boxes. And if a wax moth gets in there and lays an egg, the larva consumes that B402, and it destroys the larva from its gut out. It's a BT product. It's very effective.
Crazy. Crazy.
It's $35 for 5 ounces, you mix it 19-1. And if you will spray your frames inside a plastic container, then you can capture that and reuse the overspray. So the cost gets a lot less. We started doing that, and it made a big difference.
Interesting on that. Thank you for that tip. Overspray, I never even thought about that. That's a big tip. Thank you.
Any other comments? Questions?
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Seth and Tammy for helping different parts. Tammy's been working on some plant stuff, and I think that's something we need to pursue. And just remember, this is on your website. It's available out there. It's open to the public. Anybody can get it. Is that right, Al? Yeah. So, you can download this on your phone if you want to. All the links are available to you. Try to put it in one package, so.
Question from the Zoom.
Thank you, John.
Like John said, remember this will be on the website, so you can refresh it, use it every month, see what to do. Getting back to what he said about the flowers, the list, that we've been working on, this is something y'all asked for a few months ago. I have a comprehensive list of what's flowering in this area. Now we're going to turn it over to Seth to give us an ag report.
Tell us what our base is going to be working on today.
Then you should have been paying attention. I will say that Tammy did most of the legwork on that. I think I sent her a few things and then she just kind of ran with it and did a better job than I had time to do. But anyway, in terms of farming and what's going on right now, we've got tobacco growers getting ready to start seeding their tobacco greenhouses, and strawberries are probably going to have their covers come off this week if they're not already, because it's supposed to be 75 degrees after, 2 weeks ago it was 12 or whatever it got down to. So things are moving right along, and if any of you ordered anything from the fruit and nut tree sale, the pickup for that is this weekend. It is this Saturday at the Johnston County Livestock Arena. Make sure you're there and obviously have your name that you put on the order form ready and know roughly what you're supposed to be getting so you can get that picked up. And with that, I think that's all I really have to say.
Thanks. All right, that's on our list is Paul or Joe, want to tell us about the apiary? I know they've been doing some work out there. There's a little bit of miscommunication. They were going to do a OA vaporization.
Yeah,
and turns out they would rather signed out.
So I'll take it.
And there is also an open house day coming up.
Yes, yes, March 7th. Lou and I are a big thing with these two of us doing this. Lou was like, so much faster than we do, especially if you need. But in mid-December, Lou and I went out there and fed all of them. He actually has a recipe that I had asked him details because he's overfunded. We see the really like it. So
can you step a little closer?
All right. Yeah. So we December. And then, last week, Tuesday, we did it again, well, we found one dead out, which is too bad, you know, all the rest seem to have went through this time. So there's probably what, 10 or 12 out there right now, and something of size. So the team we're gonna do the last early treatment, tomorrow night, today, and no miscommunication about that. But the big rain was already up, it's still out, but that's okay. And we'll probably tentatively scheduled to do that on Sunday. And Lou, I don't know the details, but Lou's been not commissioned for being probably going to be available on Sunday or Monday, which is surprising. So we're taking this available to go right now. But yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, that's like Joe's favorite. All right.
If you need a vaporizer for some reason, call.
I have one, I just didn't think to bring it.
Well, I'm less than 20 minutes.
They can pick mine up. Joe, get those.
Yeah.
It's all.
I've got.
We'll work on something.
Especially when you.
Again, thank you all for coming. I know a number of you have signed up for either of the, come to the school or go out of the school. So those that are coming to the school, you've kind of got your feet wet on some of the things that we'll be talking about. And a little more in depth, so you have a little bit better explanation of what's going on. Those that are helping, Anna, that you had, that will be getting in touch with you so that we can get all that stuff took care of. Has anybody given any thoughts to the filler? I got at least one person saying yes. Everybody, show of hands. How many people would like us to look to purchase one of these? We have the money, so we're not going to go broke.
How much is it normally?
449.
449.
And the box purchasing it for $2.99.
What free shipping?
That's a good deal. I too.
We've only got so much
I
storage
felt
space.
the slap. I felt the slap.
Yes.
I got a question with the cleaning and all that. How much money would you recommend you have to make it worth your time using that?
At least a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna dip the hose in the bucket, and suck it out, so you're gonna want at least 5. If it's less than 5 gallons, I use it again still. Okay. So.
And if you've got 10 or 15 gallons,
Oh,
I
no.
really appreciate this.
Yeah. It'll make a difference. I will say for first year beekeeper, you probably won't need. All right, anybody opposed to us purchasing? All right, John, you'll order one when you order yours. We'll have it available for everybody soon. No, this will not be weight. The scale is going to be.
Scale on it.
The scale on it will be too much.
This is the time.
Scales are.
Who else has it? It doesn't work.
So we can put a postal scale on it? Why don't we buy one of those?
Because they are.
Again, cleaning batteries, things like that, some people aren't going to use the scale. If you go to the field line.
Yeah.
It does.
I don't tell them these,
Okay, thanks everybody for coming. Y'all have a good evening, drive safe. Well, frankly, it's the end of the month.
We got the bottom.
Yeah.